Right.
I hear you, and a lot of attention has been given to the fact that Darren Wilson said in his testimony before the grand jury that this neighborhood, Canfield, is not a well-liked place, that police aren't well-liked there. Maybe that played into what he saw as reasonable fear that wound up being accepted by this grand jury. Tim, let me come to you. One of the interesting aspects here will be on the basis of your complexion. You know, there's this big, well, black people need to get their act together. Well, black people need to stop crime in their communities, and then white cops won't have to go in there and police the communities. We heard that even from an esteemed leader like Rudy Giuliani. How much of this is a white problem as well? Because unity is the coming together of two different people. And what is the role here of white and black?
I think the role, well, as a white person, it's hard for me to counsel black folks on what to do, and I think it would be largely inappropriate when my own group, white folks, have so much blindness around racism in the system, as Charles said, both historically but also contemporaneously. I think for us, we need to also step back from the anger and the frustration that a lot of white folks feel when we look and we see what we consider to be irrational violence in the streets and say, wait a minute, what's going on? What's behind this? For most white folks, we don't really have a long understanding of the history of how law enforcement has been used in black and brown communities. And if you don't have that appreciation, you don't have that historical memory, things like this seem irrational to you. They seem to be irrational to mistrust police, because in our communities, the police are the folks that get your cat out of the tree or come and help you, officer friendly, Barney Fife on Andy Griffith. That's not the experience in most black and brown communities. So number one, those of us who are white need to study and learn to listen. It makes me physically ill to know, and I do know, that Charles Blow, who I know and whose son, or one of whose children I met a few years back, that he has to have a conversation with his son about how to dress, how to talk, how to walk, how to act in the world that I would never have to have with a son of mine. And he has to do that no matter who his daddy is, no matter the fact that his son went to one of the finest high schools, and I assume now probably has graduated from there, in the entire country. He still has to have that conversation. And as long as that is true, and as long as those of us who are white can walk through this world, walk through the streets, never fearing that we are going to be the sum total of other people's anxiety, there's a problem in this country that we have to be honest about and have to confront.